will a unified Conservative Party legislate MLA recall? Well, John, that will be up to the members of the unified Conservative Party to decide its policies, including whether or not we will bring in recall legislation. I don't want to dictate policy. We've had too much of that in the recent past. One of the reasons I think the PCs were kicked out of government is because we had too many leaders telling people what to think rather than listening to them. So I don't want to make that mistake. Having said that, my own personal view, John, is I do support, and I always have supported, recall legislation, as long as it has thresholds to prevent frivolous abuse by special interest groups. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. You could imagine a situation, John, where a Conservative government is having to make some tough spending decisions, and NDP interest groups might retaliate by organizing recall petitions in the constituencies of all the Conservative MLAs, or at least the finance minister and the premier. And if the thresholds are too low, they could, with their organizational muscle, get the necessary number of signatures and just cause constant havoc. A government does need the stability to be able to implement the agenda on which it ran. And so that's why I think, you have to have high thresholds that are so that voters have an ultimate tool of accountability. If an MLA has done something that is just totally outrageous, if they've completely lost the public trust, and you can get the majority of people in a constituency in a relatively short period of time to sign a recall petition. So I think British Columbia has a pretty good model. By the way, Alberta did have recall legislation way back in the 30s. It was later repealed. But British Columbia has had recall legislation in place for nearly 20 years. And I think it has the kind of high thresholds that prevent frivolous abuse but still allow for ultimate accountability. Let me tell you, up in Northwest Calgary, there's somebody who was elected as a progressive Conservative MLA 2 years ago who now crossed the floor and is sitting with the Socialist Party. Now, I suspect the residents of Calgary Northwest would love an opportunity to be able to ask that MLA to face the voters through a recall triggered by-election. So that would be a good case where I think it's a legitimate use.